Hi, welcome. It's Stella Grizont, and for this week's Remote and Resilient, I want to respond to a question I got from one of you. And the question was, my boss is not being clear and setting clear objectives, and it's really frustrating, and it's hard for me to know what to do, and I've even asked him, and he's still not clear. What do I do? So thank you so much for reaching out. So one of the things that I just want to remind all of us of is that we're all in this whole new world, and none of us really um, we're learning very fast how to function. And this particular manager might be struggling with so many things. One, not knowing what the goals are himself, because maybe even his leadership isn't being clear because the nature of business is changing. Two, we don't know if this manager is grieving, is struggling with homeschooling his kids, is overwhelmed himself. And three, maybe he's just not a very seasoned manager and doesn't know how to actually do this. So there may be all sorts of reasons for why your manager may not be setting you up for success right now. That being said, I want to applaud this person for, one, asking for her needs to be met, which is, hey, in order to really flourish, I really need to know what I should be focusing on. So that sounds so common sense, but I know that so often folks are not speaking up for their needs and actually having the conversation with their manager. So total awesome work on that front. Unfortunately, her manager didn't really support her in his response. And so my offering to you and is to really get clear on what is it that you need in order for you to feel like you're flourishing or that you're doing well at work. What are those conditions, or what's that state of being that you need? So for this particular person, we know that it was important for her to feel a sense of structure. And so I responded and asked her, hey, how might you create structure for yourself? Is there a way that you could collaborate with others, create the objectives yourself, and then run those by your boss to make sure he was in alignment? So she actually really liked that idea. And so that was totally empowering for her. She never thought of doing that. She never thought of, oh, well, I actually might be able to create these conditions for myself. And I think that's true for many of us, is that we don't actually always recognize the agency we have in cultivating the ideal experience we want for ourselves. And especially now when we have so little control and so much is changing and so much is uncertain, more than ever, expressing that agency and finding that way of creating a sense of safety and some semblance of control is really, really helpful. So if you haven't already done my vision generator exercise, that might be a way into your getting clear on what your ultimate needs are and what is it that you need to flourish. So you can go to visiongenerator.com and download that. And that's going to really ask you and help you probe what are those ultimate states that you need to be in order to feel like your most alive self. And then you can translate that into what your experience is now. Even if you're not in ideal circumstances, which quite frankly, most of us are not, even if you don't have the best boss, which most people don't, you still have agency over your experience and how you're cultivating that daily. And so that's basically my tip, is to get clear on what you need and ask yourself, how might I create these conditions for myself? With that, you guys, I hope that you're well. I hope that your families are well, and I'll talk to you next week. If you have anything that you want to run me, that you want me to share on the Remote and Resilience segment, please go ahead and write me at stella@whoopa.com, or just leave a comment. Thanks so much. Have a great week. Bye.